Our group chose to reduce our plastic use, whether it was plastic bags, water bottles, straws, food containers, lid from fast food restaurants, cutlery, or plastic non-reusable containers. We tried to reduce it all as much as possible. According to Jeff Knight in his book, Plastic Pollution, there are around 165 million tons of plastic in the oceans around the world. We made it our goal to try to reduce our plastic use that would eventually end up in our oceans. Our method of collecting data was weighing the amount of plastic that we collected weekly. We met at the end of each week of the challenge and used a scale to see how much plastic we had used. It had a small but good impact on the environment because we collected a good amount of plastic that otherwise would not have been recycled. We are only a group of 4 people, but we still made an impact even if it was small.
Imagine if we could get the whole class to participate, then the whole university, and then even the whole city of Dahlonega. We saw that even with just our group collecting plastic, we collected more than we originally thought we would. A change could be made if everyone put in the effort to do so. In the International Journal of Industrial Chemistry, they state in their article on plastic that there are an estimated 100 million tons of plastic that is produced every year. If we could start in small ways by reducing the amount of plastic that we use, eventually there will be a decline in the production of plastic, which is what our Earth really needs.
I thought that this challenge was good for me because it made me realize how much plastic that I use in a day. I became aware of how much I was using and what I was using the most. For instance, little snacks that I would get at the store or gas station. It was difficult at first to remember to keep all my plastic, but as I got used to it, I remembered to not throw it away. As for not using near as much plastic, it was not difficult because rather than eating a small microwavable thing of mac and cheese for dinner, I would go to Chow to eliminate the plastic that I would have used for my dinner. One unforeseen consequence that I experienced was that I did not eat as much when I was regulating my plastic. When I was at the store wanting to get a snack, I would tell myself not to because I was trying to reduce the amount of plastic that I used. So it would force me not to buy any snacks from the store in order to try and weigh in less than the week before. This lifestyle change benefited me because I did not spend as much money, eat as much unhealthy foods, and I noticed that I felt better about what I was doing for the environment in my day-to-day life. I plan on trying to reduce my plastic use, but I do not think that I will completely eliminate it. For example, I remember not to buy as many snacks from the vending machine or a gas station, tell the Walmart cashier that I don't need a bag and I can carry whatever I bought, or keep using my refillable water bottle. For other things, such as using plastic silverware and soda bottles, I do not see myself eliminating them because it is harder and more expensive to find alternatives. I would encourage others to become aware of how much plastic they use. I think that it would be smart to invest in things such as buying a reusable water bottle and carrying groceries from the store, but regulating your plastic can be difficult. If people are not going to regulate the amount of plastic they use, I think they should at least be aware of how much they are using on a day-to-day basis.
This challenge was especially hard for me. I did not realize how much plastic that I used every day. It was difficult at first to remember to collect all the plastic that I had used. One bad consequence that I had was simply the fact that I saw how much plastic that I do use. I eat out so often and use so many plastic food containers that cannot be reused, and that is what really upped my plastic use. The change was definitely beneficial because I'm still carrying out this challenge by keeping my plastic usage down even now a month later. I plan to continue this on for as long as possible and even get my family and friends on board. I have started to even get my roommate to reduce her plastic as well. All in all, it is a great project to take on. I encourage everyone to take this challenge and reduce plastic because it is ruining our earth and our oceans.
This challenge helped me to see how much plastic I use every day. I now understand that plastic is in every possible direction, from food packaging to water bottles and even shopping bags. One thing I did to reduce plastic use as much as possible was replacing it with reusable items. Though plastic is everywhere, considering this fact, it was easy to keep track of how much plastic I use weekly. But it wasn't as easy to get rid of it. Because plastic is so plentiful nowadays, it's near impossible to completely eliminate it from daily use. I consider this a consequence. Mankind has abused the abundance of materials on Earth, and the environment is paying for it as we continue to dump plastic waste into our oceans and other homes to diversities of species. I don't think it's too beneficial if only a few people make changes in this challenge, but if everyone jumps on board, that could certainly make a difference in the environment. As for me, it isn't my intention to change my life entirely, but I do plan to make small changes in terms of using less plastic. I encourage everyone to try this too. You don't have to jump to the gun and immediately throw every source of plastic from your life. Up to this point in time, that's just impossible. Come up with new things and recycle what plastic you do use. Every little bit of effort counts, and in big numbers we can save the environment and its precious species from plastic waste.
This challenge was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. When I started this challenge, I thought that it was going to be very hard and I would have to avoid a lot more things in my life than I had to. It was fairly easy to stay on track and to avoid plastic except for a few obstacles. The unforeseen consequences I ran into was how expensive reusable water bottles and containers were. The lifestyle change was worth it because I only had to make little changes like reusable bags at Walmart and using reusable water bottles, and those small changes that I made helped save the environment. I continued the lifestyle even after the 2 weeks were over because I realized how easy it is to avoid most plastic I come in contact with. During the 2 weeks, I convinced my family to make changes, and they have stopped using plastic bags from grocery stores. I encourage others to try this lifestyle because even though I made little changes, they were still helpful to the environment and it can make a bigger impact if more people try it.
This project benefited our group because it opened our eyes to the amount of plastic that we use daily. If people do not become aware of their plastic usage, then it will ruin the earth because the waste will either be dumped into the ocean or burned into the atmosphere. There's a quote in the International Journal of Learning and Development that states emissions of carbon dioxide have increased by 2% from 1990 to 2006, but the emission of poisonous gases in their residential sectors has increased to about 24%. This means that we are not doing enough to regulate the amount of plastic burned, and it is damaging the atmosphere at a faster rate than it has in the past. Not only is the atmosphere in danger, but so is the environment, such as oceans, parks, and wetlands. The authors of Recycling and Recovery Routes of Plastic Solid Waste explain that despite any technological development of today, plastic still induces problems with the natural environment.
Oceans are being ruined due to the amount of plastic that is caught in it, whether it was placed there on purpose or not, and other natural environments are being destroyed, such as landfills, where the plastic is sent to be burned. The earth needs help, and as the humans living on it, we have to come together as a whole, recognize the problem at hand, and do something about it. As a group, in weeks 1 and 2, when we were just collecting our plastic, we weighed in at 126.12 ounces. In weeks 3 and 4, when we were regulating our plastic, our group weighed in at 60.98 ounces. If our group of 4 people can reduce our plastic use that much, imagine how much the use of plastic could be reduced if we got a bigger group of people to participate. With efforts to change our plastic-driven lifestyle from reduction in our personal lives to reduction of emissions into the environment, there could certainly be a noticeable yet beneficial change in the flourishment of the natural world.